Well, hello there, Dippers, and welcome back to Week 13 of the Fantasy 15 Podcast, the official fantasy football podcast of Sauce on the Side. As always, Dippers, I'm your host, Drake, joined by the man, the producer, late Pip Shaventone.
You know, last week it really pissed me off, probably more than most weeks have, because in the, 50, 60 weeks done DFS FanDuel, I don't think there's ever been a week to where we've had more efficiency of yards than points ever. And I know you had several guys, but the one guy I pissed off the most was Joe fucking Mixon.
Yes.
I was all over him, had him in, every single lineups, 19 points, but no touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's killer. He don't get a touchdown.
Oh, dude, Gus Edwards. We were sitting on here just raving about him, about how he's going to have this monster game. He has all those yards. He has 115 yards on the ground, 0 touchdowns. Dude, every single week, I know that this has at least been a streak of 5 weeks, because I had actually told Pat. Pat's a guy that we always play DFS with every single week, in case you viewers don't know. Every week, 5 weeks in a row, we have had at least one guy fall short in the first quarter by 1 yard of scoring a touchdown.
We have, and it's always in the freaking first quarter. As soon as the game started, like, yes, he scored a touchdown.
The game's going just like
Boom.
we thought.
McCaffrey, stopped. Kamara, stopped.
Yes, every single week we have it. I know one week we had 3 guys that we gave you on this podcast in the first quarter. The first drive almost of their team's game. Get stopped at the 1. Game flow goes our way. Everything goes our way. Guys, we're just not getting touchdowns. This week, we have to get that right. We have been getting everything right. We have been getting opportunity. We have been getting yards. But guys, 1 touchdown is worth 6 points. Or 1 touchdown is worth 60 yards. And in a world of that, we have to get scores. Let's get that right this week. Latency, drop the noise. Fantasy 15, a Sauce on the Side production. All right, Latency. So let's go ahead. We'll start off hot, just like we always do. QB1, high-priced options. Where are we going?
This would be the first week, and I think there's week like 2 or 3 that I'm going back to Mahomes.
Hey, dude, everybody's going to score this week.
You go back to Mahomes, you might think, oh, you'll blow him out. It doesn't matter. He throws a touchdown when they're behind, when they're ahead, early in the game, late in the game. All the kid does is score touchdowns. Might throw picks, might turn the ball over a few times. Doesn't matter. He just scored a touchdown. He's going to pass Kareem Hunt out of the backfield. Kareem Hunt has more productive this season as a receiver, fantasy-wise, than a runner even. Patrick Mahomes, first time, pitched all season. I'm going to play him.
Yes, I'm going to play him. Guys, if you are not playing Chiefs, you don't want to win this week. Guys, the Chiefs total is probably the highest total I have ever seen as a gambling man. Their total for points is set at 35. So their spread, I think, over-unders at 55. They're favored by 15 points. You do the math. Real quick math. They are total for 35 points. Guys, it's going to be an offensive explosion. You have to be on Patrick Mahomes this week. If you cannot absolutely afford Patrick Mahomes, another good option. Guys, we've exploited Tampa Bay's defense all season. I am going to go back to that. I'm going Cam Newton, 8,700. Guys, he has not had a 30-point game at all this season. It's been very elusive. In the game that he's throwing the ball all over the yard for a ton of yards, he's throwing touchdowns. He doesn't have any of the rushing production. This is a week that we could have a potential shootout. The Carolina secondary has not looked that great. I expect Tampa Bay to put up points. I expect Carolina to have to do the same. And in order to do that, all roads lead through Cam Newton. He will have a rushing touchdown. He will have multiple passing touchdowns. You book it. This man is having his first 30-point game this season. Latency, there are some unlikely heroes going out there to play quarterback for their teams. Do you like any of those guys at the bottom, or where is the cheapest that you are willing to go?
So your boy Chase Daniels is an intriguing option this week. He put 70 points last week, and first off, been at Nike forever. I do like him. I'm afraid to play the Chase Daniel.
Yes, oh yeah.
And that's the terrifying thing. And between him and this guy, I don't really love anybody But Kirk Cousins going against New England, they can't stop a pass. They can't stop a COVID now. They can't cover anything. Kirk Cousins, $7,500, $2,600. Sorry, it probably looks like a quarterback this week.
I really do like Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins a lot because I do think that game does have potential to shoot out. I think that the Patriots defense cannot stop anybody. You know how Tom Brady is in those weird games. Like, he can exploit any defense at any given time. Just give him the moment. That doesn't mean I'm going to play Tom Brady. I would rather be on Kirk Cousins on this game. I do really like Kirk. Two very, very interesting quarterback options. I'm in love with Jeff Driscoll. Okay, I am in love with Jeff Driscoll. You take his name off the list and you're not looking at just the name and you just look at the blind resume of what this guy has done whenever he has gotten playing time for the Bengals. I think this guy has the potential to start in the NFL next season. I think he's going to take Andy Dalton's job. Right here, first time, his first start, I'm telling you, he will be quarterback for the Bengals next season. Guys, we're getting to 6,400. Broncos defense has given up back-to-back games of 400 passing yards, but have only given up 3 touchdowns over that time, which makes Jeff Driscoll's price so cheap. Driscoll can even run the ball a little bit. I mean, back in his days at Florida, he was a realistic dual-threat quarterback, and it's proven in the NFL. He's only got to play in 3 games. I know that one game, his first 2 games, he only threw like 3 passes and 4 passes. And then last week, he got to actually put on a little bit of a show in the second half against the Browns. He already has 2 rushing touchdowns. So he's not rushing for a ton of yards. He gets his team into the red zone. He does a little bit of savviness, finds a way to scamper in for a score. I think he's going to have an awesome game. His first time out there. Has a full list of healthy options. He has Joe Mixon. He has John Ross. He has Tyler Boyd. He has A.J. Green. He has Giovanni Bernard. This might be the first time that a Bengals quarterback has gotten under center with a full list of healthy options to go to. I think he is going to thrive. I love him at 6,400. And then Chase Daniel, one of the most interesting options this week. Another guy, you take his name away, you just look at what he's done. He's been successful, 37 pass attempts in his first game. If you pass the ball that much in Matt Nagy's offense, you will find success. I expect Chase Daniel to have a good game. I expect Jeff Driscoll to have a great game. Leighton C, running backs, where are you going right off the top?
Jeff Driscoll. He's a race car driver, isn't he?
No. There was a Driscoll that was a race car driver.
They can't list his name. Every time I hear that guy's name, I think race car driver.
He sounds like he would be racing a...
Born to race a truck.
Yes.
Not NASCAR, he's a truck series.
He would be in the truck series for sure. I love the name Jeff Driscoll, and I think this is the week that he can win you a lot of money.
It sounds like a Hall of Fame quarterback name. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's... No, I don't know if he'll be a Hall of Famer, but I think he could start over Andy Dalton next season.
Well, this weekend, FanDuel, he's probably start Kareem Hunt running back, though. He's $8,900. He plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. He, Drake said, had a 35-point over-under for the team himself. Over the past several games, he's been, about all back here they come. This week, Todd Gurley, he's still the best running back in football. I'm going to lay off him. Kareem Hunt, he's been so consistent the past, 5-6 weeks now. I think he had another huge 20, 30-point game.
You know what I'm excited for? Is that everybody and their brother is going to play Todd Gurley this week and just look at what the Lions have given up on the ground, not even realizing that now they have Snacks Harrison and Ziggy Ansah.
They've been locked up since Snacks came.
Yeah, as soon as Snacks Harrison steps on the field, this is a completely different run defense, and they're being able to shut people down. Now you add in Ziggy Ansah. This is a completely new group of faces that we are seeing now compared to, week 3, where we were absolutely hammerlocking everybody against the Lions.
What do you think Snack's favorite snack is?
I don't know.
It's probably a zigzag.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Or a zero bar.
It has to be zigzag. And then him and his nigga can be zigzag.
I like that. Zig and zag. I do like that. But I think you're right with the high-priced running back. You have to go Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's the obvious choice. 35-point total for the Kansas City Chiefs. And you look at this Oakland Raiders defense, eventually they will take the foot off the gas. They will just start hammering Kareem Hunt, let him get a bunch of garbage time points. And Oakland, since their Week 7 bye, 160 yards on the ground. That is what they're giving up. I absolutely love Kareem Hunt. Another mid-price option that I'm actually going to go with, this might be the most expensive running back in some of my lineups. Gus Edwards, 6,400. Guys, he's had 40 carries in the last 2 games. The only reason his price isn't any higher is because of the fact that Joe Flacco may come back, and also because he hasn't been scoring touchdowns. Like, if he was to score 2 touchdowns last week, his price would have thrown through the roof. So, the Falcons' defense has given up 3 straight games of 100 yards or more to running backs. You have to absolutely be in love with Gus Edwards because he will find the end zone this weekend. Latency, cheap priced options, running back, where are you going?
Have you seen the forecast in Miami this weekend?
I have not.
It's sunny. 100% chance of shade. Shade McCoy.
I love it.
$5,700. Last week against Jacksonville, do you think Jacksonville was game planning for the elite rushing ability of Josh Allen? No, they're trying to stop anything in the backfield because Josh Allen can't throw a football, and Josh Allen really can't throw a football, so they did the right thing and started Shane McCoy. McCoy still had 17 carries, he had 20 carries before that, and the Miami Dolphins, 29th ranked rushing defense. Shane McCoy, 5,700. Drake, this week, I give a shout out to him. Every lineup I play will have Shane McCoy in it. Hopefully that hamstring holds up.
If the hamstring holds up, I do think you're onto something there. Guys, at $5,700, this is probably the cheapest you're ever going to get a guy like Shady McCoy.
Yeah, this is about a year and a half earlier than I thought we'd see him be below 6,000. I thought he'd stay in the 6,500 range for quite some time longer.
Yeah, and really, guys, if you're afraid that Miami's going to go out there and beat the doors off of them, guess what's going to happen? They're going to throw the ball to Shady McCoy. Yeah. I love it. 100% chance of shade in the Hard Rock Stadium. Cheap running back. Guys, I'm all over the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? I am absolutely all over the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to put up 1 million points this week. They may be the first team in NFL history to score 1 million points, but guess what? That means that Jalen Richard is going to see a ton of tick on the field. Guys, he is 4,800. They are giving you him. They're giving it to him. Game flow is going to be the biggest reason why I'm on this guy, but just to couple that with this, the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs have given up 169 points in fantasy to the rush and 140 points this season through the air. Guys, they are the worst team at defending the running back out of the backfield. It's kind of by design. Like, they understand that they're going to give up a ton of passing yards to running backs, and they're completely okay with that. And guess what? We're completely okay with getting garbage time yards, garbage time touchdowns. We'll take every single bit of it. Jalen Richard, if you are hurting for money, absolutely be on it. And guys, if you do this, this is going to allow you to get every single Chiefs player that you want and could desire. I am all over Jalen Richard this week. Latency, wide receivers, take it from the top. Where are we going?
I'll go with Mike Evans. He's 7,900. Back-to-back weeks of 100-yard receiving. Two weeks got 27 points. Last week, 14. You know why? He didn't get a touchdown. So 160 yards, 6 catches, 7 targets. He's back. He's healthy. Winston loves him. And Carolina Panthers pass defense is worse and worse every single week. And it's at Tampa.
Yeah, I do like that. Especially, guys, and be smart with your lineups. If you're going to play Cam Newton expecting this game to shoot out, you better have Mike Evans on the other side of the coin there just to hedge your bet and ensure that, guys, if one of your players does not go off, you are not going to win. So if you think Cam Newton's going to have a good game, you better throw Mike Evans in on the other side. That just makes sense in order to build a perfect lineup. I, for one, have talked about how I think that Minnesota game has the potential to shoot out. If so, I have to be all over Stephon Diggs. Leighton said that the Patriots defense could not stop. They couldn't stop a stiff breeze right now. Stephon Diggs, 7,700, 55 targets in his last 4 games. Guys, the game total is set at 49.5. If you think that has a potential to go over, you know that Stephon Diggs has the potential to see 15 targets. Guys, he has seen 15 targets in 2 of his last 4 games, and then the other 2, he got 11. So you have to be on Stephon Diggs. They cannot stop anybody. Stephon Diggs is as hot as any wide receiver in the NFL right now as far as just seeing the ball come his way. That's what we need. In order to score points, we need opportunity. He has not been producing up to that. It's going to take a pretty poor defense in the Patriots to allow that to happen, and I think that's what's going to happen. I absolutely love Stephon Diggs. Also, we talked about it. Guys, the Chiefs are going to score 1 million this week. They cannot stop any wide receiver over the top. There's not a guy better in the NFL of taking the top off of a defense than Tyreek Hill. 8,400 game total for the Chiefs, 35. You know he's going to get in the end zone. They cannot stop anybody over the top. Latency, cheap price wide receiver. Where are you going?
The guy coming out of best offense in football is Josh Reynolds, 5,800. 2 weeks ago in the best game ever played in Kansas City, he had 6 catches to 8 yards and a touchdown. Granted, that game, set records for points scored, 3 played the Detroit Lions, but Darius Slay is in competition with Byron Jones, the most innovative cornerback in the NFL. He's going to shut down somebody in that team, and that offense is going to score points. Whether he shuts down Woods, shuts down Cooks, he will not be on Reynolds. I like Reynolds to feast off of that, get, by another 80 yards, another touchdown, reach the value of 5,800.
I actually do like that pick a lot. I really like Josh Reynolds. I think a lot of people are going to be off of him. And just like you said, Darius Slay shuts down a whole entire side of the field. So you have to be all over that. I do love it. A guy that I really like at 6,400 though is DJ Moore, and he's been producing very, very well. And if you like Cam Newton, you might as well stack him with DJ Moore. And right here, guys, we have a third of a lineup built for you already with Cam Newton, Mike Evans, and DJ Moore. If you're going to play Cam Newton, you have to play DJ Moore. 17 targets in his last 2 games, 15 receptions. So when the ball goes his way, he is bringing the ball in. He has over 260 receiving yards in those last 2 games. If he finds pay dirt, so be it. But he's looking like he's going to get another game of over 100 yards because he will see 10 opportunities this game. I think you can book it because this relationship between Cam and DJ Moore is only going to get better. Interesting little tidbit here. Do you remember the days that Jarvis Landry was an absolute just 8,000 at least?
Yeah.
He was 8,000.
He walked for like 12 catches a game.
Yeah. Did you see what he's been in? So the Cleveland offense has gotten better, obviously, over the past few seasons. He's down to 5,500 now.
Really?
Jarvis Landry is priced at 5,500, and in those last 3 games, which they've actually played really, really good football, he's only seen 19 targets, or 17 targets. Mm-hmm. So, guys, there's a correlation there. We've been saying that Jarvis Landry isn't that good. Cleveland's offensive production right now screams that he is not that good. 11 catches in his last 3 games. The offense has been firing on all cylinders. Jarvis Landry, he can go back, fight all of his teammates, scream at him in the locker room, do whatever he needs to do for his hard knock reputation. But bad wide receiver, alert. Jarvis Landry, one of the highest paid guys in the league, 5,500 on FanDuel.
He has scored over 8 points in over a month.
There's a reason. Last time he did score over 8 points, Tampa Bay. And I am all over anybody against Tampa Bay. And guess what? Last time we mentioned Jarvis Landry's name on this podcast, guess which game it was? The game that he scored 20. So, go ahead.
4 times double-digit points. One against Tampa Bay, once against Oakland. What
That's
we're telling you all podcast.
Jarvis Landry's not very good.
And play against Oakland, Tampa Bay.
Yes, play against Oakland, Tampa Bay. Guys, Jarvis Landry this week basically screams everything we've told you for weeks in and weeks out. So, Just look at Jarvis Landry's stats. Whoever he has a good game against, every wide receiver's in play whenever they play those teams.
Yeah, and if you follow this show for a long time, you should know you can definitely lock in Landry right now to all your lineups. He's going to go off this week.
Yeah.
Landry is going to explode.
Yes, Landry
this week.
will have his good game this week. I actually think that there's a little bit of potential there. I don't think. I think the place where you can beat Cleveland is in with their or not Cleveland. The way you can beat Houston is throwing the ball to your wideouts because their cornerbacks for the Texans are not very good, so there's potential there. So, wait and see. Tight ends. We don't do it like we normally with other positions. We just basically give you the options that we love this week. Wait and see where you're going.
I am 100% all over Eric Ebron. For $600 playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville, past 2 months has been an absolute dumpster fire, both sides of football. Jack Doyle is on the IR. Drake, these are Eric Ebron's snap counts when Jack Doyle has not played. 52, 75, 59, 49. Eric Ebron runs routes on 95% of his snaps.
He's a wide receiver.
He has 11 touchdowns this year, more than he had his entire career in Detroit. Andrew Luck loves him. He'll be on the field a ton. I love Eric Ebron for $5,600.
Wow. Yeah, those snap counts are ridiculous. I absolutely love Eric Ebron. I think Eric Ebron will be the tight end that I'm targeting the most. But a guy that I think is going to have his week. Guys, every year, once we start to knock this guy down, he is your third priced option. Guys, if I told you that Gronk was 100% healthy in week 13, if I would have told you that week 1, and I would have told you 6,700, the third highest tight end, you'd think that, there was a lockout or something crazy happened where the Patriots didn't play for half the season. Rob Gronkowski is back. He proved it last week. He had one of his monumental touchdowns where he jumps over one guy, bulldozes another into the end zone for a touchdown. 3 catches last week. A little bit of a shaky performance, seeing that he caught less than 50% of his balls. That's kind of a rarity for Gronk. If you follow him over his career, usually it's like 70, 80%. So the targets are there with 7. He's going to be playing in a game that I think has the potential to shoot out. I'm really big on Gronk this week. Anytime I can take Gronk, and he's the 3rd highest priced option, I'm going to be all over it. He's the only guy I'm going to at the top, and then anything after that will be Eric Ebron. Leighton C, you hit it on the head. Defense. What defense are we targeting this week? And Leighton, it seems to be a growing trend. We have to get 20 out of our defense.
It does, and that's crazy that has to be it. Like a defense, a lot of times it's a crapshoot sometimes. Like you'll play the small defense, you'll play Jacksonville. They'll get 0 fucking points.
Yes, and then we play the Jets against Buffalo, and they get absolutely housed.
Yeah.
Dude, we cannot pick a defense to save our lives.
You can't. So this week, looking at the list, so good play defense. You got the Bears, you got the Broncos, you got the Packers, you got the Titans even. If Sam Darnold starts, I'm all the times defense. However, defensive player of the week. Drake, I'll be ready for this. It's the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
3,200. The past 2 weeks, they got 8 and 7 points against Cincinnati and Atlanta. Better offenses than Houston. You're Greg Williams to come into Houston, some shit drawn up, to get you 8 or 7 points, and then $3,200, which is so cheap, you can go out and get, Kareem Hunt and Mike Evans and Ken Newton all in the same lineup, or, mixed match players, get the high priced guys. The compensate for that is to get a defense that's safe enough to get you points.
I actually like that. I really do. Because, if you're getting 8 and 7 against the Falcons and Falcons and Bengals, you're going to get more against a guy who is turnover prone in Deshaun Watson. But I think the safest defensive play this week would be the Bears. I hate to say that because now the Bears are not going to get you any points. But if you look at what this team's done over the past few weeks, they have 4 touchdowns in their last 4 games defensively. So you look at a team in the Giants, they give up a lot of sacks. Like Eli Manning never has time to pass the ball. My only fear is that this team comes out and just continues to run the ball with Saquon Barkley and tries to win this game. Now, I have heard a little nugget. Be ready for this. So last week, you saw the huge explosion, and B-Reich actually hit on it on the Mothership Show about how Saquon Barkley had 15 touches in the first half, exploded for like over 100 yards, like absolutely killing the world, looked great. Second half, he got 5 touches. There's been some talk that somebody told Pat Shurmur to lay off.
Lay off of Saquon, lay off the team thinking they can tank.
Lay off the team.
The sucks to hear that. But I can't just go off of that and start the Bears defense. For $1,600 more, they're even one of the Titans are starting more than the Bears because the Giants offense, they have good offensive players.
Oh, they have great offensive players.
They just so seldom put it together.
Yes. But I'm looking at this Bears team, 14 sacks over the last 4 weeks, 4 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, it's no doubt they can.
The Bears will get you double-digit points this week, some way, some fashion. Whether they sack Eli Manning 10 times or they have you a scoop and score or a pick 6, whatever it may be, I really think that the Bears are the smart play this week. But the bad thing is everybody's going to be on them. So like Leighton C said, I do back him up with the Browns pick. I do like that. But I'm really on the Titans. Mm-hmm. The Titans defense has been really sneaky good. They just haven't had the touchdown to. They had a touchdown week 1, haven't really had a touchdown since then. So I think that they're going to maybe find their way back in, especially if it doesn't matter. Sam Darnold or Josh McCown, neither one of them's been playing that great. So you can really pencil in a pick off of either one of those. Pick equals an opportunity to possibly score. So I do like the Titans, but I think I will probably play it safe, only play the Bears, and sprinkle in some Browns there because they are very interesting. So Leighton C, big money flops. These are guys that we expect to flop that are high-priced options. Where are you leaning?
This week, I don't know if Julio Jones going up against Baltimore. He's going to get his targets, but how many yards will he get against that good defense, especially low back deep?
That means we hate Matt Ryan, too.
Don't like Matt Ryan either.
Hate Matt Ryan.
Don't like Saquon Barkley going against the Bears defense. Absolutely hate Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is actually my last ranked running back of the week. He is $8,500. But he got 0 points. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Leonard Fournette got 0
Yeah, no,
points.
and then the same thing like Saquon Barkley, OBJ. I do like OBJ can go and get targets, but against that Bears defense is so hard to predict or go hard to promise you that he's going to get the yard total he needs to satisfy that price total.
Yeah, I actually agree with you there. A guy that I'm going to kind of shy away from is DeAndre Hopkins. He's been good because he has touchdowns, but he's only had one 100-yard game since they played Dallas, which would have been 7 games ago. So I'm going to be away from DeAndre Hopkins, especially being the highest priced guy here, and we do actually like the Browns defense a little bit. So I'll be staying away from him. Like you said, I'm going to steer clear of the Falcons offense. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not going to play a single guy in the Falcons offense. Baltimore, they're just too good defensively, and they're going to slow the game down, especially with a lot of running from Lamar Jackson, a lot of running with Gus Edwards. I think that the game will be slower. They're going to see fewer snaps and ultimately fewer opportunities for Julio. Odell Beckham Jr., he scares me against the Bears. I'm not willing to start A.J. Green coming off the injury. I do think Jeff Driscoll is going to have his way, but I think it's going to be in different routes. Even if A.J. Green, A.J. Green's going to have to score you 20 for where he's priced at right now, and I just don't think that that's a possibility this week. I do like Stephon Diggs over Adam Thielen. This is the first time I've told you this all season, so kind of look out for that. And also, Leighton hit it. I'm going to stay away from Saquon Barkley. And guys, this is actually the second time I'm going to tell you this. The first time I told you this, he had the worst game of his season, and then now I'm going to tell you this again. I'm not going to be on Todd Gurley. I think that that's a completely revamped front line for Detroit. I think that he is going to have a not Todd Gurley game. He's going to have a good game, but it's not going to be for Todd Gurley standards, which was just a plug and play a few weeks ago for 30 points.
Yeah, not to mention he had to make with that ankle. He's fine, not injury report, but it's still bummed. So if they get up 20 points in the fourth quarter, you could see Marlon Brown coming in the game and taking away the late game carries.
Yeah, and you've noticed that recently. Like, they have been playing Malcolm Brown more, and he's been seeing almost a full drive at some times. So.
Yeah, and it's like a fantasy on this, but it's great for it's a great strategy for the Rams to do that.
Oh, yeah, great strategy.
But it's like a fantasy.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Leighton C, so what are your meat studs this week? Where are guys, a quarterback getting you 30, running back getting you 20? Where are we at?
Yeah, baby, reset so you said anymore. I love these anymore. I love Aaron Jones. I love Kenny Galladay. I love Robert Woods. Before I get to my number one running back play of the week, maybe of the year even, do you think we see a time this early where Aaron Jones costs more than David Johnson?
No.
No, not at all.
Absolutely not.
The table. But my number one running back play this week, coming in at $7,000 from the Mile High City, the Mile High Kid himself, Philip Lindsay. The Cincinnati Bengal defense is 31st against the run. In the past 5 games, he has had 16 or more points 4 times. And Drake, do you know what he does?
He gets buckets.
He scores touchdowns. In the past 5 games, he has 5 touchdowns. And we talk about all show. Touchdowns are the most important thing. The best stat line of all time, Jerome Bettis. 5 carries, 3 touchdowns, 1 yard. That's 18 points with 1 yard. Touchdowns mean everything in fantasy.
Yes, touchdowns do mean everything in fantasy. Guys, I'm putting on the Meat Stud Alert watch. Basically, my only 2 quarterbacks that I see going north of 30 this week that are almost lock-ins to do so would be Patrick Mahomes and Cam Newton. I'm all over those guys. As far as the running back position goes, I do think Gus Edwards is going to have his first game where he goes north of 20 points. I do think that he's going to find the end zone at least one time, and he's going to run all over him. So I really do like Gus Edwards. Kenny Galladay, a guy that we didn't actually mention, but I am absolutely in love with. I think he's going to explode. I think that he's going to have a huge week. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, also guys I think they're going to have monster weeks. And then Emmanuel Sanders. We really didn't talk about it. I do think Case Keenum has a potential to have a ton of points. But guys, his yardage just hasn't been there yet this year. I think you can take Case Keenum on a flyer, just hoping that he puts up points against the Bengals, who have been absolutely terrible. I do love Philip Lindsay, though, too. So I'm just scared that Philip Lindsay gets those, Case Keenum gets you down there, and then Philip Lindsay scores the touchdown. That makes me a little leery. But Emmanuel Sanders, I think that he's a lock to get you 18. He's going to flirt with 20. I don't know if he's going to get you in there. But then tight end, I think we have 2 tight ends that legitimately can get you 20 points this week. One being Rob Gronkowski, which if I would have told you this time last year, we'd been like, so what? It's kind of an outlier this year. And then Eric Ebron, I think he's going to kill it. And the Bears defense will do the same.
One more note before we move on to the lap of the week. Quick note on Joe Mixon. Talk about Jeff Driscoll. That probably will lead to more touches for Joe Mixon. This year, there have been 2 200-yard rushing games. Granted, they came 7 and 8 weeks ago, but they both came against the Broncos.
Oh, wow.
Isaiah Crowell week 5, Todd Gurley week 6.
All right.
So, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to Joe Mixon this Sunday against Denver.
Yeah, no, I absolutely do love that. I do like Joe Mixon. I just don't know. I always am so leery on playing Joe Mixon because there are games where he has a ton of rushing yards, no touchdowns.
Okay, last week. And the players around Joe Mixon in that same price range, I do like more than him. So I'm going to play those guys. But Joe Mixon is a guy, it's like almost every other week he pops up something awesome, amazing. Like, man, I wish I had that.
No, I do agree with you there. All right, guys, so this week, latency, whenever he brought that to my attention with the Browns defense, it made me think for a minute. So I think I'm going to give you guys 2 lineups this week, one with the Browns defense and one with the Bears defense. So I'm going to kind of rattle off some pretty quick here. The one lineup that I really like with the Bears defense, it starts off with Chase Daniel, and I'm going with cheap quarterbacks here because I do like 2 of the options here towards the bottom. Chase Daniel, Gus Edwards, Kareem Hunt. That's what's going to start off the lineup. And then I'm going back with Kenny Golladay at wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, Robert Woods, and then Rob Gronkowski, Jalen Richard, and Bears defense. That's the one that I'm going to play probably. I really like that one, actually. So it's going to be like a quarter of the money entry that I put in. And then my other lineup, I think it's going to be a frisky lineup that could possibly hit the biggest. And I'm going to go off of that one. So right off the top, I'm going Jeff Driscoll. Like I talked about, Denver allowed 2 400-yard games in the last 2 weeks. You have to like Jeff Driscoll. They basically giving you to him at 6,400. And then Kareem Hunt. Oakland's defense, absolutely terrible. You have to have something for the Chiefs. My guy will be Kareem Hunt. And then at running back, Gus Edwards. I talked about it with Atlanta's defense, giving up 3 straight games of 100 yards. Gus Edwards coming in with back-to-back games of 100 yards, and he's also getting 40 touches in the last 2 games. You have to love that. And then at wide receiver, latency is huge on this guy, and it's Mike Evans. Guys, he fell flat on his face the last time he played the Panthers, but that was a few weeks ago. He had 10 targets, 1 catch, 16 yards. I would like to find out if there's actually ever been a guy who's had 10 targets and only caught 1 ball. So I think that is a huge outlier. I think he's going to have a monster game. Also, a wide receiver, I'm going Stephon Diggs. I absolutely love him in that game against New England, coming in 55 targets in the last 4 weeks. And then Kenny Golladay. Guys, Kenny Golladay has been a very good, sneaky wide receiver since Marvin Jones has been out, and he's been getting a huge target share. Over the last 3 games, 16.8, 21.3, 11.5, but he's seeing a ton of targets. 36 targets in his last 3 games. Sign me up for that any day of the week. And then DJ Moore. If you're going to play Mike Evans, you have to expect Carolina's going to keep pace. DJ Moore, I absolutely love that play, especially if you're going to play Mike Evans, and I want to get some exposure to Cam Newton. That's the way I'm going to do it. And then at tight end, guys, Eric Ebron is a pretty obvious choice. 5,600. He's priced like he's going to be sharing snaps with Jack Doyle. The only thing is he's not going to be sharing snaps with Jack Doyle. Runs routes on over 95% of the times he's on the field. So he's a wide receiver, getting him at a cheap tight end price. And then defense, like I said, we're going to play in the dirt a little bit. We're going to go with the Browns. Kind of hope Greg Williams has the guys fired up. Going to be the worst offense that they've played in the last 3 weeks. And they've had 15 points over the last 2. So I'm all on board with that. I think Leighton C went out and tried to find, guys, were you on that?
I did. So since targets became an official stat in 1992, it has happened 22 times. You might think, man, 22 is kind of often. Well, there have been 331 games or weeks of football in that time, and that's a ton of games, so no, not common.
That is absurd. Yes, 22 times since they've started keeping the stat. That is not that often. Latency, anything else before we should wrap this show up?
I say it every week, but make your lineups, go through, check the times. You have guys that are on the afternoon, or on the early slate, or afternoon slate. Just go through and make those lineups in that one slate before, because you don't want to let a guy like Kareem Hunt beat you in the first round. You don't want to let a guy like Cam Newton beat you in the early slate.
Yes, I agree. Guys, just be aware and use common sense. If you have a guy, if you think that there's going to be a shootout and you have a wide receiver from the one team, you better have one from the other, because if that game does not shoot out, your one guy is not going to score. So if you're not going to have one guy score, you might as well just have two.
And sometimes you just got $8,500. There's no point in playing a guy you like less just because you have the money to do it.
Yes, I agree. Trust yourself. Do not trust FanDuel. And on that note, Dippers, for Drake, for Latency, as always, stay saucy.